friends, this is Joli from QuickSilverHair, and today I wanted to show you how I actually diffuse my hair. After my video on air drying versus diffusing, some of you reached out to me and asked me to show you how I actually diffuse. So this video is an answer to that question. So let's get to it. I start my diffusing process after I have plopped for about 30 minutes because my hair is low porosity and it takes forever to dry, so I use the plop to help absorb as much water as possible. I let my hair down about 5 to 10 minutes ago, so it's air dried a little bit. I'll show you what I do. So in some of the information that I have written about heat and heat damage, one of the things that was noted was that your dryer is safest at least 6 inches away from the nozzle to your hair. So the Black Orchid diffuser, you can see, is just about 6 inches. So I don't really concern myself too much with how close I get to my hair with the diffuser. I used to pixie diffuse, which is to pull my hair like this in the diffuser and while it's off and scoop it to my head and then turn it on. I just find that it's easier to keep the dryer on than to shut it on and off. I feel like it's actually bad for the motor to be quickly shutting it on and off that often and frequently. So I kind of devised my own version of drying. I call it Plop Diffusing, and it is the best way I can do this without disrupting my curl pattern and without causing frizz. So that I found the more I move this, the more frizz I get. The first thing I do is make sure all my settings are correct. I dry on medium and low, so I start with medium and I vacillate down to low, and I also use my cool shot when it feels like it's getting a little too hot. But I spend at least a minute on each side or section in the So one of the benefits to this is that it will set your cast, and one thing you want to watch for, which I don't have a mirror in here right now, I'm drying my hair with the viewfinder, but if you see that you're getting some wonky little pieces that might not be like that curling very well when you pull it down, because I normally do this in the bathroom, I will run my hand under the water and retwist that. So I don't have water, but we're gonna retwist that up. Okay, and then I do this 1 minute hold per section on repeat until my hair is about 80 to 90% dry. So let's do the back. This is how I do the back section. This is a good time to show you that I push my hair up like that, and that's how I get root lift. So while it's setting like that, once I feel like it's getting sort of close to dry, I will cool shot that so the cool air will set the root lift. So notice how I'm touching my hair. I'm just kind of sticking my fingers in there like that and seeing how damp it actually is. At this point, my hair is probably about 50% dry. So what I will do is just keep repeating this method. As the ends dry, which the ends are already starting to set a little bit, I will leave them out of the bowl and go like this. So you'll see that as I dry. The densest part of my hair is back here where it's still dark, so this takes a lot of dry time. So I spend a lot of time with it just scooped like so. It's still loose on the back, but I just scoop it all into that section. So for a few minutes, I'll just kind of let it cool off and see where it actually, how dry it actually feels, because one of the illusions is that you think it's drier than it is because it's warm, and low porosity hair can be warm and feel dry, and then it cools off and you feel, oh, it's not as dry as I thought. So I usually will stand and just, you know, wait till I can feel it cooling off. I really don't touch my hair very much. This is about as much as I touch it during the drying process. And even after it's dried and I break the cast, I will avoid running my fingers through my hair or disrupting those curl patterns, simply because the more you touch it, or in my case, the more I touch it, the bigger it gets and the less definition I have. So I really don't touch my hair very much unless I just give up and put it up in a ponytail or a bun. But I'm gonna finish drying it. I think I'm almost there. I'm gonna do it on the top. So this is my final step is to do it on top of my head. Okay, so we are at probably 90% dry. I have a nice little floof here. It's a little damp still at the roots, but I'm gonna leave it alone. So once I have air dried for a little while, I will come back in if necessary and I will break the cast. I will take a little bit of my squalane oil. I take 1 pump per side, and I will just gently sweep with praying hands. I'm not touching it right now because it's not completely dry yet, but I'll just gently come like this, and it's a motion like this where I'm not pulling the hair like that, I'm just gently sweeping it through to where that cast loosens up. And then I leave it alone after that. I really don't touch it. I know some of you are going to ask me about hover diffusing. I do not hover diffuse my hair because the way that Mains by Mel really starts hover diffusing is at the beginning of the drying process. Mel has a higher porosity hair, she has denser hair, and she has a much coilier texture than I do. So hover diffusing is not difficult for her because she's already got some lift happening up here. With my hair, because it is low porosity, low density, and it's so long, it is very plastered to my head when I pull it out of the plop. So I don't hover diffuse because it really doesn't do much, because I'm, you know, shooting that heat at hair that's laying flat down. So it's much better if I get that hair up and lift it off of my scalp to get it dry. Hover diffusing is great if you have coilier texture, higher density, or higher porosity hair. So I think that's one of the best ways to dry your hair and keep the heat off of your hair directly, because you are staying even further away. And if you have higher density hair, you can afford to use the hover diffuse because Mel does it on high heat. I don't use high heat at all, so that slows my drying process down also. So that's it for me today. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope I answered all of your questions about diffusing. And if I did, please hit subscribe if you haven't already. Please like the video so I know that it was helpful to you. And until next time, shine on.